Hello and welcome to New Junction on tour. I have come to Blakemere Village to see Making Tracks 4. Last year we saw Making Tracks break the world record for Britain's biggest model railway, but they built another one. So I've come inside and here we are. We have found Making Tracks 4 and I'm joined by rail nut Andy Goss today, who's going to talk us through what we've got on Making Tracks 4. So Andy, could you tell us, and those at home who haven't seen the layout, from their left to their right, what the layout consists of?
Yeah, sure. So, hello everybody, you're right. Basically we start down the far end, we go through road cutting. As it comes along, you go into the Watford tunnels. Coming out of the Watford tunnels, you approach the flats, the new flats that have been built, and then you go through into Watford Junction station, through the station, past the station building, and then all the way along, round the bend, over Bushy Viaduct, and then back onto the Fiddle Yard.
That was a very brief description of a very large layout, but you can probably tell because of what we've got framed in this shot what Andy was responsible for, and it's the three very standout flats on the layout. That seems a very underwhelming way of describing your big building. So can you tell us about them and how did they come about?
So Phil drew them. He got all the blueprints. He drew them on the computer, printed them out. They're all made out of MDF wood. So it's made out of MDF wood. The only thing that's not made out of MDF wood is the windows. They're made from the projector sheets that you on the overhead projectors. Once it's been designed on the computer, it's all laser cut, and then Phil gives me the bits and pieces, and then we glued it all together. So that's basically how it came about. From Phil, basically, drawing the computer. I dread to think how many hours it's taken him to do that.
He just knocks it together in an evening, usually. But the first time I saw one of these was when you were building it at Chester Cathedral, because they weren't on the layout at the time. So how long has it taken you to build the three behind us? Because, they're huge kits, really. The
one in the middle is the first one that was started. I was helping Pete. He started building the first block of flats. I was helping him, doing bits and pieces in between, and I think that took in total, I think it was 2 weeks. Once there was an extra board added at Chester, and then that block of flats got added on. So that was the first block of flats. Phil's kits are fantastic the way he designs them. So once you figure out where all the parts go. Bear in mind, I didn't have any plans to work from, so it's just basically like we're figuring out like a jigsaw puzzle. So once I figured out where all the parts go, I roughly kind of knew from helping Pete build the first block of flats. But once you figure out where your parts go and where they go, it's always best to just check before you glue everything that they actually fit and they're in the right place before gluing. And then it's just, once you've done one, it's like you get used to building one layer and then you just work your way up. So that probably took me about 2 weeks probably to build it, but that's not including obviously when you have to start painting it and then adding all the windows. The windows take long as well. The tallest block of flats, which is 22 stories high, 2 days it took me to build, just like the actual carcass of the flats. About 2 days it roughly took me, and I guess that's because I'm used to doing it now, so it's like it's become like riding a bike. I can build them quite quick now.
I hope it doesn't take as long as it takes to answer the question. You could have built another one in that time. Joking aside, but the incredible thing about this is you can now get them as kits that you can buy to put on our home layouts at home as well, can't you?
Yep, absolutely can. Yeah. So if you go on Key Model World, you can purchase the lower relief flats from Key Model World.
So basically, it's the same. It's just the fronting, and
Yes.
you can buy floors to add on, can't you?
Yep. Yeah, and you can build them as high as you want.
So what's been your highlight of making tracks for at Chester and Blakemere this year?
I think basically just getting involved more. More and more getting involved, because it's just. I started out this time last year. Chris asked me to volunteer. Would I be interested in volunteering as a driver? And I signed up, and then I was driving here last Christmas at Blakemere, and then I ended up going, being asked to come, invited down to Pete's barn. Started, getting kind of involved there.
And of course, you're not stopping there, are you? Because you're not only making this layout bigger still, you're then on to the next one for Chester in 2025.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so there's going to be an extra 8 feet added onto Watford Junction, which will be for April this year NEC. I almost said next year, but yeah. So this year at the NEC, the extra 8 feet will be added on. The Watford tunnels will be moving, this way more. There's going to be an extra 8 feet added on behind us, with the other block of flats. And what else is basically across the road from these block of flats behind me. So that's what's going to be added on. I'm not sure what.
And what's the plan for the next layout?
So the next layout, as far as I'm aware, will be that will be for Chester. That's going to be Wembley Central, which will be the end of the Making Tracks, the final end of Making Tracks.
So they'll display Wembley Central at Chester, and then presumably they'll put them all together at some point.
That's correct, yes. So at Model World Live in April 2026, everything is going to go together as one.
So that's the NEC show in April, but 2026, not 2025. Blimey, your calendar's very busy.
It is, yeah. I mean, I obviously, not living here, it's this way, living in London, it's a bit more difficult for me to come and help, but I do what I can to help the best I can.
I think that's one thing that is forgotten quite a lot of the times, is all the rail nuts are volunteers, no one's paid, and of course you all have to travel in to the barn or here where it's put up into its final show, and then you run the shows, of course, as volunteers, and you have volunteers come to drive as well, so it really does capture the spirit of the model railway scene, as it were.
I think me and Aaron are probably the furthest away. Aaron lives in York, obviously, and I live in South London. Some of us have quite a long distance to travel, just to come and help and do what's got to be done. I wish I could do more, but
life gets in the way. Well, as we film this is one of the last days of the Christmas exhibition from 2024 to 2025. So by the time the video is released, you will no longer be able to come to Blakemere and see this. However, you will be able to see it at the NEC in April at Model World Live. And then, of course, the brand new layout, Making Tracks 5 at Chester Cathedral later in the year. Oh, I think we got there in the end.
I think we did.
Andy, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Keep on building the flats. What we've just seen is Andy making an absolute pile of it, and he's not getting away with that. Look at that! His brand new Deltic. Come on, Andy, what happened?
Well, there's a short. It basically shorted. It was stopped. It started going backwards for no reason at all, and then it's kind of done with sleep when it's talking out stopping.
So you've just shunted your brand new Deltic with a 16-car Caledonian sleeper. And these are the experts running Making Tracks.